Well, hello, my lovely friends. How you doing? Where have I been for the last 2 weeks? Why have I not been posting on social media? Good question. Here comes the answer. So, make yourself a cuppa, get comfy, and listen. Not just so that you can hear what I've been going through, but more importantly, because you can copy the steps that I have been taking to get myself better. So here we go. In June this year, I had really bad sinusitis. It never went away. And over the last probably 2 months, I would say, my health was gradually getting worse and worse. So ultimately, I had extreme exhaustion. I'm not saying just tired. I mean like that times 10. It got so bad that I almost couldn't get out of bed for 2 weeks. That is not me. So I had the extreme exhaustion. I also developed reactive arthritis. I'll get more to that in a minute. But basically my knees and my ankles swelled up like balloons and I could hardly walk. So all of this kept going on. I was feeling worse and worse, less and less energy by the week. And as I say, I pretty much couldn't get out of bed for 2 weeks. I'm like, right, what the hell is going on? I hadn't been really well since June and we're now like October. Anyway, yes, I went to the doctors numerous times. To be honest, they really weren't much help. I had 4 lots of antibiotics for the sinusitis, didn't work. I had 2 different nasal sprays, didn't work. So eventually I said, look, I need to know what's going on with my body because this is not me and I've had enough. So I had lots of blood tests done. And the biggest thing that showed was my full blood count, my platelets were really high. And that's basically an indicator that my body is dealing with extreme inflammation. So I'm like, right, okay. So that was about 3 weeks ago. So then last week, I had a load more blood tests done. And it showed I was pre-diabetic because my sugar levels were high. It showed that my platelets had gone up even more. And it showed that my thyroid wasn't working too well either. So when I got the results last Friday, I will be completely honest with you. I sat in my car outside the doctor's and I cried. Because I was like, shit, these blood results are not good. But this is where it all changes. I have been working with some AI software. And I have trained basically one of my AI advisors as a medical advisor. And so what I did, yes, I know this is going to sound daft, but it'll all make sense in a minute. So while I was sitting in my car crying, I took pictures of my blood test results, sent them over to my AI medical assistant, and it basically confirmed what we had thought. So for the last month, I'm obviously one for my research. I read books and articles. I do a lot of research. So from what I'd found, it looked like I had post-viral syndrome, which is a precursor to chronic fatigue syndrome and is very similar to the symptoms that you get with long COVID. So once I got all those results, it basically confirmed that no, my body no longer has a virus, but because all the rest of my bloods were okay, white cell count, red blood cell count, that sort of thing were fine. But what it did confirm was that obviously my body had been fighting this sinusitis for 4 months, and clearly my body had got to the stage where it's going, yeah, you know what, we've had enough of this. We're just not really going to work properly now. So that's why I developed the reactive arthritis, because that's when your immune system starts basically attacking kind of cells that are okay. Anyway, you get the gist. I was really poorly, and last week I got the blood test results. So after I cried, because you have to let it out, you know, and I was working with this AI advisor that I have, I basically said, right, and this is where Janice really comes into her own. I sat there and I thought, right, it's nothing really serious, in that initially they thought it could even be something like leukemia. So I thought, right, it's not that. It's not another autoimmune disease, because those blood tests were fine. But it has confirmed post-viral syndrome. And I know from my research how to start getting myself better. So I basically, and this is the first thing you have to do, no matter what ill health it is you have. I took responsibility and ownership for my health in that very moment. I knew that the doctors can't just fix this. You know, they told me, oh, well, you know, just rest when you need to, and perhaps just move a little bit more when you can. That information is completely pointless and useless. Nothing to do with that. So I took ownership and responsibility of this problem. I knew what I needed to change, because I've done it before when I basically reversed a systemic autoimmune disease. Same kind of steps. So first thing I did, change my mindset. No one's coming to rescue me. I've got to deal with this myself. I'm now in competition with myself. That's the best competition to be in. For me, anyway. So I thought, right, mindset first. Then, number 2, I completely stripped back my diet. Now, this is where you're going to say, oh my God, I couldn't do that. Look, if you're really ill, and changing your diet, yes, is hard, but what would you rather? Change your diet and it be difficult for a few days, perhaps a couple of weeks, or be ill all the time? I clearly made my decision. Fine, diet it is. So I got rid of everything, gave it away. All the food I could no longer have, which was most of it, to be quite honest. So now what I eat is fresh, not out of a tin, not out of a packet, fresh meat, fish, fruit, veg. I drink water and herbal teas. Yes, smoothies, you know, frozen fruit and water. And yes, that's pretty much it. Because I knew that my body was clearly, you know, just jacked up on sugar. Not like I have loads of sweets, but you know, all the sugar in the processed food that we don't know is there. Anyway, so I completely stripped back my diet, and I will now be staying on this. I suppose technically it's called an AIP elimination diet. I will be staying on this until the end of the year at least. So after the diet, then came supplements. Yes, I take Immunase Extra, which is a good multivitamin. I take that every day, have done for years. But that wasn't enough to help me while I'm sick. So I have now added 4 new supplements in the mix, 3 extra ones in the morning and magnesium at night. There will be more about the details coming later. Supplements. The next step is time blocking. You know, when you feel awful, once you change your diet, you will start feeling like you have a bit more energy. But then you have to start protecting that energy. So making sure that when you are awake and up and about, you're doing things that are important. So when you consider on Friday, I could hardly walk, I felt horrendous, and this is now Monday, so 3 days, and look at the change. I mean, I honestly, sorry, loads of traffic on my very quiet road. I honestly can't believe the change myself. Yes, the first couple of days I did feel a bit jittery, and obviously that was because my body was no longer having sugar put in it. But today, look, I'm out. Oh, where's she gone? There she is. I'm out walking the mountain with Keita. I couldn't have done that last week. Christ, I could hardly get out of bed. So what I'm saying is, there is hope. There's always hope, as long as you have a plan. Hope is not a plan. Hope is thinking that and acknowledging that, okay, there's a way out of this. That's what hope is. But then you need the plan to get out of it. So this is what's going to happen. Because of what I've been through over the last few months, I am going to start doing more reels and posts about my recovery, how it's going, what I'm doing. That's the important bit. What I'm doing to help me recover, because ultimately you guys can do the same. You know, you can, even if you say to yourself, oh, I don't think that'll work, I'll give you a slap if you say that, mind. But you might think, oh no, that won't work. But just give it a go. I hate the word try. You either do it or you don't. And yes, obviously I've gone all in. I've got rid of all the food I can't have. I will no longer be buying any, even wheat-free biscuits or bread or cake. None of that. Nothing processed, nothing with sugar in it. So yes, I'm all in because I need to sort my health out. Anyway, so yes, what's going to be coming? There will be more reels in amongst my usual reels about my recovery and how I'm doing. There will be new documents I'm going to write because I need to shape this, what I've done, into an 8-step plan that anybody can follow. So yes, I'm going to now start doing a lot more work as well. And that's on top of the rebranding and all the rest of it I'm doing in my business, which is fine. We like to be busy over here, me and Keita. So that's the big update for you today. Apologies I haven't been around for a couple of weeks, but clearly I've had a very good reason not to be. But the most important message is, whether you've got chronic fatigue syndrome, long COVID, post-viral syndrome, ME, autoimmune disease, any of those major things, and it also applies like during and after cancer treatment, operations, the lot. If you don't sort out your mindset first, you won't stick to any changes. Second comes diet, third comes supplement, then comes time blocking, then comes like gentle exercise and movement, and then finally it's finding someone who can help you and support you through it, someone who's been there like me. Okay, so there we are, my friend. That's the big update for now, and I would say normal service will be resuming soon. I feel pretty good already, to be quite honest, and it just shows what a massive difference changing your diet, mindset and your health recovery starts happening a lot quicker than you think. So there we are, my friend, from a rather chilly and breezy Rhondda Valley. I will see you again soon. And if you want me to send you the document with those 8 steps all detailed out for free, no questions asked, drop a comment below, send me a message, and I will gladly send it to you once it is ready, which will probably be a couple of weeks, because obviously I want to make sure I record everything and it's not fluff. It's all actual things that I have done that have got me back to where I was, pretty much better than I was 4 months ago. So my friend, it can be done. All right, I'm here to help you every step of the way, remember? And yes, the new SBS acronym is Symptoms Build Solutions. Till next time, bye-bye.